Okay, so we can start now for this meditation session. And as usually, I ask everybody to please turn off your mobile phones so they don't make a noise. It's bad karma if they go off when someone's about to become enlightened. And if they had mobile phones in the time of the Buddha, imagine how many people wouldn't have become enlightened because their mother-in-law rang just at the wrong time. So please turn off your mobile phones. And number two, for those coming for the first time in meditation, please, the class for the Introduction to Meditation is on the room to my right. So this is a class which we meditate for about 40-45 minutes, which is a long time for a lot of people. But for those people who can meditate for a long time but still get sore, that's why we have the chairs. The chairs, you may be surprised to know, are for sitting on. So if you want to meditate on a chair, it's wonderful. It takes away all the pain and aches of the body. So when we meditate, we want to try and tranquilize the body, tranquilize the mind, to bring it to a sense of peace and calmness and stillness. And you will never be able to get your body to be still if it's aching, if it's in pain, if it's too hot, too cold, or whatever. Now still remember, this reason why I'm very positive about the air conditioners. When I was meditating in Thailand for 9 years, this was in the jungle. You get up early in the morning, we had to get up at 3 o'clock there and meditate at 3:15. You're always feeling sleepy. Now once I went to Bangkok to do visa, and I was staying in a temple, and it was one of the head temples, so they had one room which was air conditioned, and we got the key to use it. And when I went in there at 3:15, put on the aircon, you weren't sleepy. It had really good meditation. And I realized sometimes the sleepiness, the dullness, was just because the temperature was too hot. For a brain, if you look at my back over here, there's a little stamp saying made in England. I wasn't used to the hot weather. So sometimes, a bit of coolness and comfort, you find you do get better meditation. So be careful. So if it is a bit too hot, you always go sleepy, turn the temperature down. And that means that, you don't get so, you get a more comfortable body. And a comfortable body means the mind gets very still, or can get very still. But of course, even though the body is nice and comfortable, still people will go on thinking about so many different things. And it's the thinking which is always the biggest problem for people in meditation. It's what really stops you developing a sense of stillness inside and the beautiful peace of mind which comes from that stillness. So in order to stop all this thinking, we have to, it's almost a bit of discipline, but using wisdom rather than force, to be able to let go of all these extraneous thoughts. The simile I'm going to use this morning is my famous simile of a TV screen. If ever you're watching a TV screen, you'll find that when you first turn it on, you can see what's to the left, to the right, above and below that TV screen. But once you're watching that TV screen, then soon your mind fits into the screen so you can't even see the edges. All you see is the action, the movie, the documentary, whatever you're watching. If you understand what happens there, your mind fits in to what's important. And what's on the edges disappears. So if you go watch a TV show tonight or go to the movies or whatever, just notice when you first turn on the movie, you can actually see the edges of the screen and what's beyond. After a few seconds, you can't see that anymore. You can only just see what's in the middle of the screen. Using that insight into the nature of the brain, when you are meditating, try and have a focus in the center, something you can focusing on, something which you're interested in, something which grabs your attention, and everything else like thoughts, like sounds, like irritations in the body, make sure that's on the edge of the screen, not in the center. And of course, here for most Buddhist meditation teachers or places, we always use the meditation on the breathing. So keep the breath, as it were, in the center of your screen. So the breath is the main thing. Just watching the breath go in, watching the breath go out. And if there are any thoughts, any sounds, distractions, keep them on the edge. You can imagine a big screen, and these things are on the edge. If you want to experience this right now, if you're looking at me, focusing on me when I'm talking, if you focus on me, after a few seconds, the monk on my right will disappear. Because you're just focusing on one thing, and what's on the edges just falls off your screen. That's what we call focusing. So it doesn't mean you have to get rid of the monk. All you need to do is focus on the center, and what's on the edges disappears. So this is how we can deal with thoughts, with distractions, with sounds, even with feelings in our body. We don't bring them to the center. If we get interested in the thoughts, if the thoughts are really of value to us, and we have the understanding we're going to find out something important by following this train of thought, of course the thought will come into the center of your field of attention and everything else will fall off. Which is why, if you're watching the breath, you lose the breath. You don't know where it's gone. It's just not there anymore. And you're just off in your thought land. So don't make the thought the center of your field of attention. And even if somebody makes a noise, it hasn't happened for a long time, but sometimes people fall asleep and they snore in the meditation because they are tired. It happened to me once when I was teaching in the old Canning Vale jail. It was a high security jail many years ago, so it was part of the protocol. There always would be an officer with me when I was teaching the meditation class. And when I was teaching the meditation class, teaching people how to meditate and calming them down, I heard someone snoring. It was good that I opened my eyes because the person who was snoring was the officer. And I opened my eyes to see, and this is no exaggeration, that one of the prisoners, his hand was 2 inches from the officer's keys. The officer had fallen fast asleep, and one of the prisoners was about to pinch the keys. So it was actually good that I opened my eyes when they were. Otherwise, if I'd have carried on meditating, when I opened my eyes, it'd only be the officer and me left in the room, or the prisoners would have disappeared. So if it happens that someone starts snoring, don't bring that to the center of your field of attention. By which I mean, why are they snoring? Look at this is disturbing me. When you give it importance, then you're bringing it into the center. It's just snoring. So what? It's a dog barking. That's what dogs do. Keep the breath in the center so you can hear the snoring, you can hear the dog, you can feel the heat or the cold, whatever, but it's on the edge. The middle is on the breathing. And if you can get that idea in your head, the breathing is always in the middle. You can hear the sounds, you can hear the dog, but after a while, you don't know when, you can't hear the dog anymore. You can't hear the snoring as you're focusing what's in the center. Just like the movie is all that you can see, and you can't even see the edge of your TV set, nor anything which lies beyond. Just focusing. And that actually is very powerful. That really works. But it means you have to give importance to the breathing. So to be able to give importance to the breathing, we try and make it interesting. Because sometimes people think, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. This is boring. How long do I have to do this for? Breathing in, breathing out. So don't just watch the breath in that way. Give it interest. So one way you can give interest, is what I was teaching last night, is give a little few words along with the breath. And the ones which I've been using mostly these days is breathing in, peace, breathing out, let go. Breathing in, peace, breathing out, let go. If you're suffering from a disease like a cancer or something, you can actually breathe in health, breathe out toxins or whatever. So you can adjust this for what really grabs your attention, what's really meaningful for you. If you're really poor and suffering because you've lost your job, breathing in money, breathing out debts, breathing... Okay, I'm only making a joke, okay, don't do that. But breathing in peace, breathe out, let go is a very good one. Breathing in peace, breathe out, let go. Because what that does, every time you breathe in, you remember this word peace. It actually starts to establish that in your mind, because you keep mentioning that to yourself, after a while your mind submits and it being in peace. It takes in the meaning of peace. And so this incredible thing which we call peace starts to establish itself inside of you, and it grows stronger and stronger. You're breathing in peace and your mind is actually becoming more peaceful. Breathing out, let go, let go. Because we do carry so many attachments, and many of those attachments are very painful and very heavy. We need to learn how to let them all go during meditation. Never be concerned or afraid. If you let go of your attachments, you're being irresponsible, because I guarantee you 100% when you come out of meditation, you'll have your attachments back again, unfortunately. But at least during meditation, you can put them down, let them go, and be free. So breathing in peace, breathing out, let go. And because you repeat that to yourself, again, it makes it that little bit more interesting. It does mean that you have got something which is in the center of your screen, and you know if you're being there, if you know if you're not. And lastly, it does create an attractive quality to the breathing. The breathing becomes very peaceful and very nice. And when it becomes peaceful, nice, and happy, I call it the delightful breath. I used to call it the beautiful breath, but many people say beauty is what you see with your eyes. So delightful is a much better way of describing this. It's this beautiful, delightful breath which you're experiencing. And once you get to that stage, then the mind will stay with the breathing for a long time because it's fun. It's actually really a nice thing to do. And many people, they meditate for a while, or they get skilled at it, and they can get the delightful breath coming up. Just watching the breathing going in, going out. It's just so nice and so pleasant, so peaceful. It's so nice and pleasant and peaceful because compared to all the other things we have to do in life, life can be so busy sometimes. There can be so many problems, so many things to do. Sometimes many of us get overwhelmed, really under the pump, as they say. Don't know actually where that comes from, under the pump, but anyway, here we are just letting all of that disappear, so we can have this beautiful sense of freedom and peace. If any of you have ever gone to stay in one of our monasteries or gone overseas to a quiet place with not a thing to do in the whole world, no duties, no work, and a place where you can't get any emails, you can't SMS or tweet or anything. Freedom at last. I'm so peaceful here, nothing to do. And for many people, that is such a relief. It is the delight of being freed from a prison of having to do things. And it's that type of delight one starts to realize in meditation. A delight of the freedom from having to do so many things, to think out so many solutions, to make so many decisions. Now I don't need to do that at all. I am free. And that's the delight of a peaceful mind. So this is actually what we're doing, and hopefully that there's enough instructions there to get you started. During the meditation, as usual, I'll be giving these more instructions as we go along for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then I just let you go. So you develop your own meditation, and I develop also. So this is a way where we give guided meditation for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then you're peaceful. Or rather, I'm peaceful. So, is there any questions about that so far? Great. So, as I did, I think, last week, out of compassion and kindness to all the old people in this room, including me and the young ones as well, please now stand up and have a stretch. When you are nicely stretched, get some of the aches and pains away, then please sit down. Okay. And now you're sitting down. Try and get yourself comfortable. once you are comfortable, close your eyes. When your eyes are closed, make yourself more comfortable. You can always increase the level of comfort in your body. We do this by invoking a combination of mindfulness and kindness, what I keep calling kindfulness. We are aware of our body. We are mindful of the many feelings and sensations inside this body of ours, from the toes up the legs to our bottom, torso, our arms and hands and head. We're aware of everything. And if there's any part of our body which is tight, squashed, painful, irritating, we focus on it. We don't run away, we focus on the problem. That's called being aware, being mindful. And then we send it kindness. May my nose be happy and well and free from irritation of pollen. May my back be free of pain. Whatever it is, and never underestimate the power of a mind focused with kindness on healing any part of your own body. When one part of the body is relaxed, try to go to another part to relax that further. This is not just for the purpose of relaxation. It's also establishing these two qualities in greater strength and power, awareness and kindness. So your attitude when you eventually go on to things like the breathing is to be aware of these things, but not with force, with kindness. You find that if you are kind and people are kind to you, you attract each other. If you're kind to your breathing, the breathing will be attracted to you. If you're kind to peace, peace will come to you. It's kindness, it's openness, respect, softness. Be kind to your body. It's got to serve you for many more years. So you have this quality time just with the feelings in your body to get to know your body again, to be very sensitive to it, and to adjust when it needs adjusting. And any time during this meditation, if you need to move, to adjust out of kindness, you're most welcome to do so. Once the body is relaxed, then you can let it go and focus on the mental world. The mental world is a place where thoughts, emotions, happiness and sadness, guilt, fear, all those things, is where they live. In the emotional world, the mind. You want to calm that all down so there's not so many thoughts. You can imagine your mind. Imagine it like a great lake in the mountains. And sometimes there's so many waves on that lake. So when there's waves on the surface of a lake, it can never reflect the moon and the stars in the sky above. Only when the lake is perfectly calm, with not a ripple on its surface, only then can you have a perfect image of the heavens above and the forest and mountains which surround it. So we're going to see how we can let this mind become calm as a still mountain lake. So we still have our commentary inside, these words which we continually speak to ourselves along with our experience of life. See if you can calm that all down. You don't need to give an opinion about anything. Just know. Know without giving things a name. And if thoughts of your future come up, the plans of what you're going to do later on today, tonight, tomorrow, this is not the time for that. We'll leave that into the future. This is our meditation time. A time we put aside, not for work, not for problem solving. This is the time dedicated to peace. And anyway, if you want a good future, focus on the place where your future is being made, right now. And all that past can't be fixed, it can't be changed. Let it go. You don't learn anything from the past. You learn all the wisdom from the present. If you want to be wise, look at now. Know what it feels like. What emotion, the happiness, the sadness, the dullness. Just know what it feels like to be right here, right now. Especially see if you can notice this quality of peace. This peace when you're just here with nothing to do. You just are. when the mind is peaceful enough, you may invite your breathing in to be able to watch the breath. How you observe the breath is up to you. You don't need to watch it at one particular place. Whatever feeling or sensation tells you your breathing is going in, whatever sensation tells you your breathing is going out, that's what we focus on, the feeling of the breath. Just breathe in 1 or 2 or 3 times to get to know the feeling. And then you can start saying, breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. Peace. Let go. Don't just focus on the words, focus on their meaning, what it does to the breath and to the mind. To know the beauty of peace. To feel the freedom of letting go. Breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. You may be able to notice this thing inside of you, which always tries to cling and control. That's what we're telling. Let go, controller. Let go, judger. And just be breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. And keep the center of the screen of attention. Keep that with the breath. Because the breath is the most important. And anything else is on the edge. Soon, all those other problems you have in life, all the thoughts, all the sounds, you keep them on the edge of the screen of attention, they will soon fall away. Until all you have left is just the breath going in, bringing peace into your heart. All you have is breath going out, taking away, letting go of all the pain and the hurt and the tension and the tiredness. Breathing in peace, breathing out, let go. Just getting very close to the end of the meditation now. How do you feel? How much peace have you managed to breathe in? How much tension have you managed to let go of? And just savor the last couple of minutes, just being peaceful, not trying to get anywhere or develop anything, just being able to enjoy how much you have developed. Now I'm going to ring the gong 3 times to end the meditation. Please listen to every sound from the gong, and when the 3rd ringing fades away, that is a signal to end the meditation. After the 3rd gong. Very good. So now please get yourselves comfortable. Hopefully that worked today. Now we have, oh my goodness, we have questions from here and from overseas. This is an interesting one from Hawaii. It's amazing how many people listen to this. Here we go. Question from Hawaii. I am able to get into stillness by paying attention to the body. But when I shift attention to the breath, my mind will once again bounce here and there. Should I just keep attention on the body? Thank you. Okay, the answer is yes. Please keep attention on the body much longer. One of the problems with giving a guided meditation is that I give the instructions at certain stages, and sometimes for some people I go too fast, for some people go too slow, which is one of the problems with guided meditations. Sometimes when I say go on to the breath, it's great you still stay on the body. When I say go on to the breath, you should have been on the breath a long time ago. So that's why I dislike sometimes doing the guided meditations. But it's okay for the Saturday afternoons. But for the question here, I would stay much longer on my body until you feel stillness, until the stillness brings up a sense of delight and happiness. Just being with the body, being nice and still, and everything gets nice and soft and peaceful, and you get a sense of comfort, enjoying it. And then you can very gently invite the breath in. I use the word invite the breathing in instead of just going to grab it, because that will disturb the stillness which you've already developed. By inviting the breath in, you just be very gentle, very respectful, just like you would invite a friend to come in, rather than grabbing them by the throat and pulling them in. Which means that usually you can take the stillness you can take the peace, the happiness you've got by doing the body reflection or meditation, you can use that and just transfer it onto the breathing. And for the person from Hawaii, if you go on to the breath and the breath becomes, the mind is not still anymore, then just go back onto the body. You've gone too fast. And that way you start to learn when is the right time to transfer from one object to another. You become a very skilled meditator. So we do have a couple of questions in the basket here. Call them basket case questions. Oops. So this is a controversial question. This is concerning our nuns' monastery. Dear Ajahn Brahm, could you tell me where the Lord Buddha teaches in the Pali Canon about Kuan Yin, whose statues are to be installed in the nuns' monastery? Thank you. The controversial one there. Because our nuns' monastery have decided to put in a statue of this Kuan Yin. And Kuan Yin has a very interesting history. Because it's one of the people in Buddhism who started off as a man and became a girl. Sex change in history. Because this is just a bit of interest for scholars. We have like the historical Buddha, and the Buddha had two chief disciples, which were Sariputta and Moggallana. And they were saying that this is not the first Buddha that ever was in the world, nor will it be the last Buddha. There's been Buddhas before and Buddhas before that, because when there is an opportunity, for these things to arise, then they will come. So the Buddhist cosmology is many, many universes, one after the other, been going on immeasurable time. Not just one universe, but many universes. And so you can have a Buddha come along. And they say that all Buddhas have two chief disciples. And so there was the Buddha, which many of you may have heard of, is supposed to be in the future, not even a Buddha yet. They said Amitabha had two chief disciples, Avalokitesvara and Vayama. Now, Avalokitesvara means the one who looks down compassionately. That's the Sanskrit word. And Vayama means effort or struggle or whatever. And in the history of Buddhism, they were both supposed to be two males. But Vayama was not very popular amongst people. Human beings, we've always been lazy. And so effort and struggle never really got people's attention. But looking on with compassion, that was a very attractive ideal for Buddhists. And so what started off was just a chief disciple of a future Buddha soon became an icon of Buddhism in themselves, Avalokitesvara. And so many statues, because this was a symbol of compassion. And because in all cultures, I don't know why this is sexist, this is not really part of our modern age, but we always think that women are more compassionate than men. I remember, this is what we think. I remember going to one of the funeral companies here in Perth, and they had just started having female funeral directors. And I remember just talking with the funeral directors, and they said, these female funeral directors are very popular because people in Australia think they're more compassionate. But he said to me in private, he said, but if you have to work with them, you realize they're not compassionate at all. That's what he said. Now, women and men are the same, as far as I'm concerned. So, but they have the ideal that women being more compassionate than men. And so the statues of this Avalokitesvara actually changed to be much more like feminine, until it actually became a feminine image. And of course, when it went to China, they changed the Sanskrit name to Guan Yin. Guan means looking over. It's a Chinese character. I know that one. And Yin, I think, with compassion. It just means looking with compassion. And so now it's mostly a Mahayana symbol to have Guan Yin statues everywhere. But it's just a symbol of compassion and kindness. So the person who asked this question, it's nowhere in the Pali Canon. They have a Guan Yin. But nevertheless, if it's a symbol of kindness and compassion, fine, because we can always do with more kindness and compassion in this world. There's never enough kindness and compassion. So it's just a symbol, that's all. It's the same with the Buddha statue behind me. For those who wonder, what do we do bowing to this Buddha statue? Is it to pray for good luck in our exams or to get the boyfriend of our dreams? It's not that at all. When I bow to a Buddha statue 3 times, the first time I bow down to virtue, the second time to peace, virtue, peace, that's right, the third time to compassion. What that symbolizes for me. So all statues, they have a symbolism. And so if I bow down to virtue, what I'm saying psychologically is that virtue is important to me. When I bow down to peace, I'm worshipping peace. It's such an important quality in our world, both internal and external. And compassion, the beauty of compassion is so great. I find it very easy to bow down to compassion. So that's what I do when I respect and worship a Buddha statue. I'm bowing down not to a lump of brass. I'm bowing down to virtue, peace, and compassion. So we have a statue of Guan Yin in the nuns' monastery. All of this is a symbol of compassion and kindness. That's all. So it's not a god. You may go down and bow there and ask to win the lottery. You won't win the lottery by bowing down to an image like that. It's not a god. It hasn't got any powers except to actually inspire one to be compassionate. So actually that's where that comes from. Dear Ajahn, recently I found a new friend and I'm very fond of, but I realized that there are a lot of attachment in this relationship. How do I practice letting things stay as they are so that I can be at peace? Well, if you have a relationship, you have what we call relationship suffering. If you're single, you have single suffering. It reminds me of the story I wrote about some time ago with they were Thai ladies, sisters. They came to see me for counseling. They came together. They were sisters. And the first sister she was married and having a lot of trouble with her husband. So, I was trying to counsel them just how to sort of learn how to get the relationship back on track. But basically, she had a husband she didn't want. And then I sort of started talking to her younger sister. And her problem that she was never able to get a sustaining relationship. She'd find a nice boy, maybe 1 month or 2 months, and it would all fall apart. She couldn't find the love of her life. So, I looked at both of them and said, look, the answer is very obvious. The elder sister's got a husband she doesn't want, and the younger sister wants a husband. Swap. Your sisters. To a monk that made so much common sense. But they wouldn't have a bar of that. I don't know why. But getting serious, I told them, look, if you're married to the elder sister, you've got what we call marriage or relationship suffering. That's what it's like when you have a relationship. It's not easy. But if you get rid of that relationship and you're single, you have single person suffering. That's what it's like. Now, there are some people who are looking for work, haven't got a job. You've got what we call, unemployed person suffering. And then you go and find a job. And you've got to stress out getting up early every morning, rushing to work in the traffic, having to work under terrible bosses. You've got working person suffering. So you can't get away from it. You know what some people say? Well, look, I've been there, unemployed suffering. I've been working suffering. I haven't married. I know what marriage suffering is. I know it's being single suffering. So I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to ordain and be a monk or a nun. And it's true. Then you don't have, the suffering you have in this world. You have monk suffering instead. So in other words, it's not your situation. Having a relationship or not having a relationship. Being a layperson or being a monk. It's what you make of what you've got. How you deal with having a relationship. Or how you deal with being single. Both are fine if you know how to deal with them. Always value the fact you're single. You can have a nice peaceful time. You don't have to worry about other people. You can go wherever you want without having to ask permission. You have this great freedom of being single. And if you're in a relationship, it's wonderful. You have this person you can actually spend time with and share with and get to know each other. And by getting to know each other, you get to know yourself. That's wonderful. If you're unemployed, it's wonderful. You can sleep in on a Monday morning where everyone else is just getting stressed out. Marvelous, like being on holiday. So it's appreciating what you have rather than seeing the faults in it. Is a secret here. So if you have a relationship, there's a lot of suffering in it, but there's a lot of fun in it as well. So you have a relationship, enjoy it. So There's attachment there, but whenever you have attachment, remember it's only temporary. You don't own your partner. They came into your life. What comes into your life will one day leave. And so that if you understand what I call the simile of the concert, which means, you like music, you go to a concert, you enjoy it, and after it finishes, it goes, you never cry at the end of a concert, oh, it's over, oh, I'm going to miss the performer. You don't cry at the end of a concert. You feel enriched by having been there for so many hours. So if a relationship fails, it doesn't sort of go anywhere after 1 year, 2 years, or 6 months. Wonderful. What a wonderful time we've had. What a great experience. Just like a great concert. When you go into a relationship realizing it's going to end, it changes the whole ball game and you can enjoy it. And when it ends, yes, we had a good time together. The trouble is, when we go into a relationship, we think, this is the one. This is my soulmate. Be careful, because in Buddhism we don't believe in soul, so we can't have any soulmate. This is the one which is meant for me. We're going to be happy ever after. Ha ha ha. There is no such thing as ever after. There's always a use-by date on every carton of milk and every relationship. So see if you can find the use-by date. When you get married, they always say, better before the age of 50 on your partner. Whatever. It's got a use-by date, okay? So when you go into relationships like that, it's not permanent. Now you can have much more fun because you're real. And then when it fades, you've had a beautiful time together. We've learned so much, have a great time. Now's the time that we came from different places, we go to different places. It's our life. And that way, you can have a wonderful time without realizing attachment is thinking these things are going to be there forever. They're not. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy. You don't get attached to the concert, you know it's going to finish, which means you can enjoy it even more. And there we go. Relationship advice from a monk who's been a monk for 40 years. I know everything about relationships, marriage. Anyway, that's nothing to do with meditation, but it's good fun. Any questions from the floor? Okay, if you can put the questions in the box, please try and put them as like meditation questions, because it's a meditation session. It's much more fun. Okay, so it's 4:15. So I don't know if the aircon worked. It's pretty hot. Well, it's very quiet because it ain't working. So anyway, always be on the positive side. It's very quiet, air conditioning. Because it doesn't work. Anyway, let's go and pay respects to virtue, peace, and compassion.